JW Simmons, host We Should Know on WCLN-AM and on Star Vision, and Melvin Henderson is the publisher of the Sampson Weekly, a weekly newspaper that serves the Clinton and Sampson County areas. Gentlemen, what's the situation? I'll start with you, JW. Is it a disaster? Is it just a mess? Or is it just miserable, or all of it?
Kelly, first of all, let me thank you for being here in Sampson County and shooting some video from here to let folks know Sampson County is still here. We're still functioning. It is a disaster. It's all of those things that you just mentioned. The county and city and state, all the partners are working closely together. As you know, one of the big areas here is not only people. People is a big concern. Power is a big concern. Getting back to some sense of normality is a huge issue. We have a tremendous livestock concern here in this county. Poultry, hogs is huge here. As our friend Steve Troxler will tell you, we're looking at billions of dollars with that particular industry alone. We are holding on, but it is a disaster, and we're going to bore our way out of it. It's kind of one of those things that's going to be gradual, but all the folks I'm talking to is saying months, maybe even longer, 6 months and out to get out of this thing. Just looking at roads and infrastructure is going to be a continuing issue.
Melvin, there's more stories in Sampson County than your team will ever tell in the next 6 months for cleanup, flooding. But what have you found out there? Where is it bad? Where is it okay? Where are some bright spots?
Well, there's a lot of suffering going on in Sampson County, just like throughout the eastern part of the state. But Clinton is slowly returning back to normal, if you can call normal normal. It's a new normal. I've been into areas like Roseboro. I've been into Newton Grove. I've been into Salemburg. A lot of roads are out. A lot of people without power. A lot of trees down. A lot of lines down. Again, it's getting back to normal there. Again, you know, you've got people without electricity. You've got people that, you know, are without water in spots, and so again, it's going to be a new normal when and again 6 months from now we'll look back on this. It'll be a memory. You know, you've got a lot of roads that are going to need to be repaired along the way as well. So your normal path to and from where you're used to going, you know, you're going to have to make new ways of getting places. I went to Roseboro yesterday afternoon. Usually that's a 15-minute trip from here. It took about 30 minutes to get there just because of the amount of traffic on the road, because the side roads are not available anymore. Went to Salemburg from there to work my way back into Clinton. What should have been a 15-20 minute ride took about 30 minutes to get back around. So, you know, we've just got to just be patient.
What's the big deal about a 30-minute ride as opposed to a 15-minute ride down a country road?
Well, I think one of the big issues is what Melvin alluded to, is there's a sense of normality in here, even in Clinton versus Raleigh or Durham. If many restaurants you go to in those areas, you expect a 15-20 minute wait or even a 30-minute wait. In this area, if you sit at a stoplight over about 15 to 20 seconds, there's a problem somewhere. So you've got what normal is here versus what normal is into a more metropolitan area is significantly different. But I would say, Kelly, that when we look at the content of what is happening here, it does affect the broader picture of the state. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Governor McCrory, because he and his team were on point with this storm and the impact of it being water is one of the key issues with that storm. We had some winds. The best we can tell, maybe gust up 40 to 60 miles an hour, those kinds of things. And we've had some trees down, but the storm itself revolved around the issue of water and the amount of water. We're looking at some places 10 to 15 inches of water in a short period of time, in less than 6 to 8 hours. That's unbelievable. So when you think about the stability of this county, and we saw some of that same kind of thing with Fran and Floyd. So we have a history here in dealing with that. The city and county has come together. It's come together with state and regional folks to make this a better place, and the humanitarian effort has been tremendous here.
Now, Melvin, looking at, following the news reports out of here leading up to this day's pass, have people been smart about this water? Did they respect the water as much as they would have respected wind had it been down here? Because I saw the swiftwater rescues down in the Black River. A lot of guys in boats, and you know, people think they're rescuing people who are stranded in cars trying to cross flooded areas, but you also put your first responders at risk, because there's been a lot of that in this area. And how has that worked in the last few days?
Well, if you take it in contrast of people, we have 65,000 people in the county, and I think there's been 200 plus water rescues. So if you look at it from that number, I would say that people have respected the water, and they've stayed put, so to speak. But again, even with a few people, instances, we have had some loss of life, and just one life is a tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things, Kelly, that I want to kind of segue with that is that one of the things that we've been trying to do with my form of communication, which is, we should know, obviously it's simulcast on WCLN and Star Channel 16, is to try to get folks to understand you have to be patient. We had about 3 gas stations that were open just 24 hours ago, or 48 hours ago from this viewing. There was people waiting in lines up to 3 hours. A medical doctor here in Clinton that was working patients had to wait in line for 3.5 hours. People that have a sense of urgency, but these folks kind of understand that, and so we're encouraging folks in these disastrous kinds of times that Sampson County has faced over and over again, and not only Sampson, but this region of the state, because if you look at Sampson, it is one of the largest counties in the state. I mean, there's this debate with Robinson County, but when you look at the size of it, 72 miles from one end to the other, we've got 65,000 plus people, but look at the population. It's spread out. You've got a lot of land area.
There's only a handful of media outlets in this town. You're one of them. You're one of the other ones.
Right.
How are you going to serve this community going forward? How are you able to? Star Vision is where you were based. We just had Mr. Horn on, and it's flooded, and they are repurposed. So, what's your plan?
One of the things that I'm planning to do, and you and I have talked about this a bit off the air, I'm planning to try to continue on in a capacity of communication with as large a number of people. We've expanded our communication base. WCLN radio used back during the days was WRZ. Now WCLN is operating now with more mediums than just tower connections. Obviously Mixlr, that's mixlr.com/oldies1170 is on. You can pull that up on your smartphone. You can pull it up anytime that the radio station's on. My show, Tuesday, 2:30 to 3:30, every Tuesday. We'll have a guest on there. I'm trying to build.
You're going to focus on.
I'm going to try to focus
issue
on where
here.
we are. I'm going to try to maintain connectivity with local and state level politicians. Senator Brent Jackson has been a regular on my show, and certainly I'm going to try to bring him back in. Representative Larry Bell and others, people that can answer questions, because they have a constituency base that is really pushing them to make certain things happen in a time zone. Sometimes it's that they know is impossible, but they still want this to happen.
Melvin, your paper is a community paper. I've read it. It's a lot of feel-good stories. Do you pivot for temporarily, and do you go dive into the mud and the muck and get this cleanup going? How do you see your editorial direction taken?
I think that we have to focus on the story that we have today, and there is a unfortunately, like you said, dive into the mud. This is a deep mud hole. And so we will continue to focus on this. There's a lot of stories out there I've heard just names and names of people that have gone way beyond and above the call of duty. We have a fire chief in Salemburg that has turkey houses underwater, but has spent the last 48, 72 hours concentrating on the people of Salemburg, getting food, getting water out, checking on people, checking on the elderly. I mean, I could just name dozens and dozens of people like that.
We have had some injuries with emergency responders too. We had a couple of firefighters up in New Grove that were injured. Fortunately, not tragic, but injured going to calls to assist people with water-related issues.
Well, guys, get stuff out to us. It's okay, but tell the story. We can't be everywhere. We're going to have a crew following the water. But if you guys can tell the local story, get it to us, we'll get it to the state. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Now,